Hi, fans of high quality entertainment. As you can see on the left side, my last video uh, really performed well. It's number one of my last 10 videos. And I was talking about how in 1983 it seemed I started losing interest in, buying albums and buying albums by new artists. And I think it kind of continued for the rest of the 80s and beyond. So for me, the best music, just for me personally, was the 60s, 70s, and, a little bit of the 80s too, of course. There still was a lot of great music in the 80s. So anyway, I was gathering together albums from the 80s using Rate Your Music. And then I still noticed there were a few missing. And so I added those. And without even attempting it, I counted how many I had, and it was exactly 100 albums. And I'm sure I'm missing some, but, I'm doing the whole decade of the 80s. So, of course, I was still buying Sparks. I was into U2 big time and Lou Reed. Still buying Devo, Elvis Costello, Peter Gabriel, Talking Heads. I was still buying the Rolling Stones, some Queen albums. Yeah, Neil Young and a few others. So I thought it would be fun to rank these 100 albums from the 80s. Okay. In no particular order, here we go. And as I always say, if there's some great albums missing, I've either forgotten about them because, a lot of albums in the 80s, or I've never heard the album, or I don't know it that well enough to rank it. So U2 October, kind of a disappointing follow-up to their debut, but still good. I'll put it in B. The Go-Go's first album, that was good. I'll put it behind U2. Sparks, Angst in My Pants, that's S tier. U2, The Unforgettable Fire, along with Uptung Baby, my favorite U2 album, that is S tier. Lou Reed, The Blue Mask, that is A tier. I love it. Bruce Springsteen, The River. Yeah, I was buying Bruce Springsteen albums, but I just never totally, I liked them, but, I was never like a huge fan. So I'm going to have to put that in B, ahead of the Go-Go's. Peter Gabriel So. I actually never bought that album, but, I've heard all of the songs on it. I just prefer his earlier albums, but I'm going to put that in B, at the start of B. Still, of course, some great songs on it. The Smiths, The Queen is Dead. I know a lot of you would put that in S tier. I'm going to put it in A tier, just for myself. Right there. Frank Zappa, Ship Arriving Too Late to Save a Drowning Witch. I think it's underrated. I'm going to put that in B, at the start of B. And as always, I'm not saying that's a better album than Peter Gabriel's So. It's just for me personally, it's more of a favorite because I'm a huge Zappa fan. XTC, English Settlement. I know that's Glenn Kellaway's favorite XTC album. I don't know. I just never, I preferred Black Sea and Drums and Wires and their earlier stuff. It was still good. I'll put it in B, behind Zappa. Kate Bush is A tier. Hounds of Love. Dire Straits, Brothers in Arms. I love the title track. And Money for Nothing. But overall, I'd put that in B tier. right there. U2 Boy, excellent debut album. I will put that in A tier, just behind the Blue Mask. Neil Young Freedom, an okay album. I'll put that in between Peter Gabriel and Dire Straits. Paul McCartney, Press to Play. I've only heard it a couple of times. The first time I didn't like it. The second time I liked it. I'm just hoping it's, it comes out someday as part of the archive editions, or it's remastered properly or remixed. I'll put that in B. I do need to hear it more. I'll put it at the end of B. Frank Zappa, You Are What You Is. Yeah, it's still right into Zappa. That would be A tier for me. Just behind the Blue Mask. Metallica, I'm not a big Metallica fan, but I have heard Masters of Puppets, and I actually did buy it back in the vinyl days. Just for me personally, I'll put it in B. Neil Young Reactor, I think, is underrated. I'm going to put that in A tier. It's Neil Young being Neil Young. Yeah, and like I said, for me personally, I just would rather listen to Reactor than Kate Bush. All right, Kraftwerk, yeah, Computer World. I love Autobahn and Radioactivity, and then their later albums just never did anything for me. So I'm putting that in C tier. Sinead O'Connor, her excellent first album. I'll put that in A tier. Right at the end of A tier. King Crimson, Discipline. Love it. I'm going to put that in A tier. Right there. Tom Petty, Full Moon Fever. I never did buy the album, but of course I've heard it. Tom Petty is always great. Put it right there. The Joshua Tree, U2. I loved it when it came out. Kind of grew tired of it pretty quickly, though. I prefer other U2 albums. It's still great. I'm going to put it in A tier, but behind, well, it's still a great album, of course. So there you go. The Smiths, Strange Ways Here We Come. I'll put it right there with The Queen is Dead. Marillion. I had the album. I thought it was good, but it was almost, like they were just copying Genesis just a tad too much. The one album of theirs I still have and I love is Clutching at Straws. I love that album. Rush, Permanent Waves is A tier. There. Milk and Honey, that was okay. Kind of, it wasn't really completely finished. Some great songs on it, though. Right there. Killing Joke. I love early Killing Joke. I've never had any of their albums, but everything I've heard, I've really loved. Right there. Michael Jackson Bad, probably my favorite Michael Jackson album. I'll put that in A tier. Right about there. Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA. I really did like it, but once again, I kind of grew tired of the songs pretty quickly. I'll put that in B tier. Right there. Jane Siberry, great Canadian artist. Kind of has elements of Kate Bush. I'm going to put that in A tier. Yeah. Check out Jane Siberry, The Walking. Right there. This is going to be a long video. I apologize. Maybe I'll do this in 2 parts. The Cure, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. I did buy it when it came out. I love certain songs by The Cure. I just don't love everything. I'll put that in B tier. Right there. John Cougar Mellencamp, probably my favorite album of his, The Lonesome Jubilee. I'm not a fan anymore, but that's still got to be A tier. It was a great album. Right there. Right there. Lou Reed, New Sensations, love it. That's A tier, just behind The Blue Mask. Yep. Grace Under Pressure, Rush. I thought that was a good album. I haven't heard it in years, but like I said, I bought it when it came out. Right about there. Neil Young, Trance. I know. Lots of people don't like it. I love it. It is A tier for me. There. Flash Gordon, C tier. Rattle and Hum. Got some fantastic songs on it. All I Want Is You. Desire is the one U2 song I never did like. So I'm going to put that near the start of B. I'll put it right at the start of B, actually. XTC Black Sea, excellent. Right there. Queen the Game. I think it's a fine album. I'm going to put that in A tier. Yeah, so I'm going to do this video in 2 parts. So Talking Heads. I never bought that album. That includes Burning Down the House, which I love. So just for now, I'll put it at the end of B tier. I mean, it's Talking Heads. Devo, Freedom of Choice, great album. A tier. Right there. U2 War, good album. I will put that, I'm going to put that in B tier though. Right there. Paul Simon Graceland. I know a lot of people would put that in S tier. I'm going to put it in A tier. Right there. Yeah, Tears for Fears. I bought the album. I just never... Just for me personally, I'm going to put it in C tier. I'll put it at the start, though, of C tier. Yeah. Paul McCartney, Pipes of Peace, that's C tier. Not a fan of that album. Pretenders, their debut, that is S tier. Amazing album. Right there. Oop. Right there. Blue Oyster Cult, Imaginos. Kind of in between B and C, so I'll put it at the end of B. Close to the end. Right there. Elvis Costello, King of America, my favorite Elvis Costello album. It is S tier. I really love this album right there. And one more for this part of the video. Peter Gabriel, Melt. Yeah, bought that when it came out. Awesome album. A tier at least. Right there, just ahead of Paul Simon. So that's it. That's the first part, because I have 100 albums to go through. And I've got 50 more to do. So I'll see you in part 2. Bye. Yeah, so only 4 albums in S tier. If you can see that there. There you go. Bye.